It will be recalled that some communities in Askira Uba local government area, including Lasa, Chul, Rimirgo and Mutukum, came under attack at various times by gunmen suspected to be Boko Haram insurgents, where lives were reportedly lost, while public and private structures were set ablaze. Governor Babagana Umar, who visited the affected communities to commiserate with the residents, further assured them that government will support them to ameliorate their plight, rebuild the burned structures, and support the civilian duty of hunters and vigilantes.
The cardinal objective of any administration is to protect the lives and properties of its citizens. This administration will provide your security requirements, inshallah.
Stakeholders of the various communities visited appreciated the governor for his concern to the plight of the citizenry. They noted the devastation caused by the series of attacks on the communities and further called for support to the victims. Meanwhile, Governor Babagana Umar reassured Askira and Uba Emirate of government's commitment to provide basic amenities of lives to the citizenry of the two emirates, especially in the areas of education, healthcare service and water supply, among others. This was during a courtesy call on the emirs of Askira, Mai Abdullah ibn Muhammad Askirama, and that of Uba, Ali Ismaila Mamza, at their palaces. The two emirs were full of gratitude for the developmental projects in their domains. Governor Babagana Umar, who held interactive meeting with the stakeholders of the area on the need for unity, peaceful coexistence and good governance, also used the opportunity to felicitate with Christians on the Christmas festivity. In Maiduguri, Mahmoud Goni, NTA News.
In another story, Otuaba, a neighboring community to Otuoke, the country home of former President Goodluck Jonathan, came under attack early Tuesday morning, leaving a soldier dead and another injured. Timipre Ohia visited the area and now reports.
Unknown gunmen have attacked Otuaba, a neighboring community, former President Goodluck Jonathan's hometown, killing one soldier and another injured. Mr. Uraba Dia, speaking on behalf of His Royal Highness Samuel Ibum Ibe, said unknown gunmen invaded the security post about 2 a.m. in the early hours of Tuesday. He said the incident has thrown the people into confusion. However, security has been beefed up in the area.
Unknown gunmen came to Otuaba community where the military men, the security men at the water side, securing the water side. They exchanged gun for about 30 minutes. After then, information came that one of the security men was killed and the unknown gunmen went back home. We don't know where they come from and we don't know the purpose.
At the time NTA News visited the scene, we were told the former president has left. Meanwhile, spokesperson for Operation Delta Safe, Major Jonah Onokalu, has confirmed the incident that occurred in Otuaba, a neighboring community to the former president's Goodluck Jonathan. He further noted that the military had launched a manhunt for the gunmen in the creeks and waterways. From Otuaba in Ogbea local government area of Bayelsa State, Timinupri Ohia, NTA News.
A very unfortunate one, I must say. Now, power is the backbone of every economy in Nigeria. Its availability, otherwise oftentimes, determines the health of most businesses. Joshua Ojito takes a look at challenges in the sector and the new approach by the federal government to improve power supply in the country.
Nigeria, an emerging economy, standing tall on the continent, pimping into global markets, but it is somewhat impaired by stable electricity supply, making business owners to wear long faces as their capital literally disappears in generator smoke.
They used to give us lights by 2 hours in the morning, and they would take it that 2 hours till 6 o'clock in the evening.
In spite of the privatization and unbundling of Power Holding Company of Nigeria, PHCN, in 2013, blackout is an unshakable giant in some precincts. There are also challenges of poor network, metering, revenue losses and remittance along the distribution value chain.
All the stakeholders should be brought together on the round table. Let's look at the variables. How have we fared well? The key performance indicators. Those that need to have the equity diluted should be diluted. Those that need to be shaped out should be shaped out.
After repeated interventions and promises of decades now, power supply is still hovering between 3,500 and 5,000 megawatts.
in running the business is to liberalize the sector.
The consciousness has come to the point of people also taking note of the fact that we can draw resources from alternative sources of power supply, and I think it's a fundamental thing to think of.
But there is a ray of light in sight as federal government targets further investment in the sector with the implementation of Power Sector Recovery Program. The intervention is to ensure infrastructural realignment, completion of all ongoing power projects across the country like Mambila, Zungeru, Dadinkowa, and Kashimbila hydro dams, as well as Afam Power Station, among others.
We are going around to complete the project and also to commission the project before the end of this term.
We want to solve all the problem of transmission because we are implementing the Transmission Rehabilitation and Expansion Program.
Also, the prompt intervention of the National Assembly to address grievances of electricity employees over their welfare that led to recent strike seems to have mended an imminent shock circuit. In Abuja, Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
No, thank you, Joshua. Now, one of the most startling encounters migrants, tourists, and journalists face is the great adventure in exotic new lands. That's exactly what Usman Aliyu has to tell us when he recently visited Nairobi, Kenya's capital. Nigerians are everywhere in the world, making a difference in life for the good of humanity. And in Kenya, he had an encounter with someone who recently and incidentally is a Nigerian doing something wonderful.
Nairobi, the capital of Kenya. I was there for official engagement. The capital statue tells a story that the people here pay homage to their leaders, the nationalists who help in building the country. Kenyatta, whose son Uhuru is now the president, is the symbol of national honor, while the Harambee mark, a Swahili word, means all together, explains the unity of ideals of the founding fathers. Nairobi is a melting pot where Kenya's 42 tribes rub shoulders. Just to explore the new land, I went out on the street of Lenana along Chaka Road. Then I met this man. He looks familiar, and my current suspicion was right when eventually he said to me he is Pam Gyang. I recognize this name. People from Plateau State bears it. Pam's story may mean nothing to all those jostling for survival on the streets. But if Abuja is a city transformed years after independence, so too is the city of Nairobi. They have similar issues: security, development, and opportunities. Pam is a professor at the Africa International University of Kenya. He is building on the legacies of the founder of the university, himself a Nigerian, B.M. Kato, who died long ago. At the moment, Professor Gyang has almost 20 publications to his credit, all on how to build the humanity.
The problem of lack of listening is very dangerous to any society. And so when you see the young ones involved in crime or criminal activities, or they become juvenile delinquent, the problem may just be they just want to get an attention.
He is also concerned about his country, Nigeria, and is happy that changes are introduced as foundation for the future.
I'm very glad because especially in the issue of fighting corruption. Corruption is our issue. Not in Nigeria, but it's an issue in Africa.
Typical of this man, he visits his fellow Nigerians to identify with them. And so coincidentally, he met people from his home state and share with them the good moment. And it's another opportunity for us to speak to some other Nigerians about the reforms taking the course in Nigeria.
I get some positive reports from home. People are engaging themselves meaningfully now, because I have some friends back home who are into agriculture, which were things before people never used to.
For almost 10 years in Kenya, Professor Pam Gyang thinks not only for himself in his works. Many like him exists. Usman Aliyu, NTA News.
Thank you so much, Usman, for that. Nigeria, good people, great nation. Yes, proudly Nigerian. If you say you have not been able to do all you wish to do this season due to some constraint or the other, In the next part, you will meet those who simply look beyond constraints, even something as daunting as the restraining bars of correctional centers to produce results. Please stay with us.
Maybe say now today or 4 days when my girls won't come visit me.